Welcome to the Pizza Party. I am the Pizza Guy DIY, encouraging you to do it yourself, fool around and find out, do something even if it's wrong. You learn from the experiment and gain experience so that you can run another experiment and gain more experience. Yes, that's what the motto, that's the theme of this entire channel. Here we are with our Jack's Original Thin Supreme on the Piezano video too. All right, so I bought some stuff, right? I bought the Piezano. You can see the granite stone pizza paddles in the center for launching your pizza onto the granite stone. But above that, straight directly in top center, is an 11-inch pizza screen and an 11-inch perforated aluminum pizza pan. It says toaster oven pizza pan, but it can go in the Piezano. And the reason I got that, and I bought the perforated kind, is because it'll be half in contact with the aluminum pan. It'll be half in contact with the pizza stone. Should give me a really good bottom, but I've noticed that when I build my pizzas on my countertop, I add sauce and cheese and condiments or meat and whatever else I put on the pizza, and then it gets really hard to launch. So I either need to put cornmeal down on my countertop or flour, more cornmeal, to make this better to launch. That's the hardest thing is the launching. Sometimes these pizza paddles make it easy. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. So I bought those, the Cuisinart toaster oven pan, even though it deviates from my personal evolution of wanting an 8-inch pizza. A thin crust 8-inch tavern style South Shore pizza is my dream, and I've achieved it. This video, I recorded these screenshots, or I took these pictures and made this video that's inserted into this video over 2 months ago. So I kind of forget what was going on. But yeah, I've changed from just an 8-inch South Shore thin crust rolling pin badass. I made the best pizza, bro. I have made the best pizzas. Stick around, sign up, subscribe, whatever, click like. Because over the next 2 months, I have just made spectacular pizzas. And really, it started with my desire for that 8-inch pizza. But then that kind of shrank a little bit, and I came to understand that, the 8-inch is 50 square inches of pizza. That's 50 bites. Whereas a 6-inch pizza is 28 bites. And I could never finish a frickin' 8-inch pizza. I always had just a little bit left over. And cold pizza, to me, is gross. I don't like reheated pizza, although the Piezano is fantastic for reheating pizza. I just put it into a tinfoil clamshell, and ta-da! I ate some this morning, in fact. But anyway, just want to show you that, it's the same old Jack's pizza that I did in my last video. So anyway, here's the same instructions, some of the same screens, just because I want to get on with this. But here it is, fresh out of the box. This is a frozen, solid, straight out of the freezer onto the pizza stone. The other one, I followed some YouTube videos that said thaw the frozen pizza. When you put it on there, it'll cook faster. And then I realized that, you know what? I'm not desperate. That pizza cooked in 12 minutes. I can wait 15 or 20 minutes or even a half an hour for a freaking bomb-ass diddly pizza. I just don't need absolute speed at every moment, right? Been there, done that. Cocaine is expensive. So anyway, here we go with a Pizza Guy DIY video in the next slide, and bam. All right, so there it is. I just launched it with the pizza paddles. I showed that in a single photo. The lid was open for a moment, like a pretty long moment, because, I took time to take a photo with the pizza paddles. Now we'll see how quickly this thing climbs up. And I'm going to go set the timer on the microwave to 13 minutes. Right now it's at 350. This thing does recover quickly, and that stone doesn't cool off quickly. That's the whole point of a stone, right? Here's another video. All right, well, I haven't touched it for a full 10 minutes, and I think I set the timer for 12. There's another minute to go. This says it has settled down do 400 degrees with food in it. But as you can see, the dials are at like 300 top and 300 bottom. So, you know, nothing makes sense. This is 300, this is 300, yet this is 400, and the stone was 500. So, oh man, I'm just seeing way too much bubbling going on there. I got to open it early, even if the timer hasn't popped off yet. All right, looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. And I've got the handles. I started with the handles in a specific position, right, on purpose, so that I could pick the handle up and move it from the back to the front, but it only goes about 45 degrees. So that's what you're going to get. At least it'll fill in those blank spots on that I saw over here and over here on that last peak. All right, so another minute, according to the stove or the microwave timer. I don't want to open the lid again, but I don't want this thing to burn. And I haven't even taken a peek at the bottom. So if necessary, I will leave the lid up and I will increase the heat on the bottom to bring that bottom to the right color. It doesn't smell, so I don't think the bottom is overcolored. Guess we'll find out. Might have to do some editing. Damn it. I hate video editing, dude. 100% do not like. There it is. Beep beep. There's the microwave timer. Got a little more color on the two sides. All right, so now what I can do, I can't do this on holding the camera. I'm going to put it under my chin, see if it works. Didn't work. I dropped it. But I gave this thing a whole 180 turn. Gave it a whole 180 turn on the handles. And so I didn't change the temps or anything, but I did lift the lid so the temperature dropped. There it is. Nah, it didn't drop that much at all. All right. The beeping's driving me insane. Hang on. Okay. I'm slowly beginning to learn to use my phone. That's at 400. That's there. These guys haven't changed. Shooting at 300, maybe 325 there. Shooting about 300 right there. And then what I want to do is lift the lid, give it a rotate. Okay. Now see, that dropped good, almost 50 degrees, 40 degrees. Nothing changed here. And gonna give it another minute. Yeah, give it another minute. Then I'm gonna use these pizza paddles to pull it out. You can't see that because I don't have my chin can't hold the camera. But I'm gonna use pizza paddles, put this thing on a cooling rack. Then it goes to a cutting board. It gets sliced and devoured. That's what it's all about. Okay, so that hasn't recovered. So that pizza stone that thing's been doing some work, bro. So I think we're looking okay here. I'm fine with it's weak here and it's weak there. How do I fix that? Let's see. Instead of rotating the full 45 degrees, I only went 22 and a half. You notice I went from here to here. Get it? That would be, starting at, if I did a full rotation, that'd be a 45 degree turn of the pizza. But if I split it, that's 22 and a half. And now that blonde area is out here and getting some color. I still have no idea what's going on underneath this pizza. And every time I lift the lid, it drops a little. But actually, that's fine because it was so overcharged at 400, 500 degrees, and I had these things set on 300. So I'm still confused. I'm going to try different pizza tomorrow or the next time I make a video. And I'm going to try the same exact pizza in maybe 4 or 5 different temperature configurations, like super hot on the bottom, not so hot on the top, or opposite that, or I don't know. Well, dude, I'm looking to fool around and find out, and I have a couple of surprises in store because I'm a surprised guy. All right, I think it looks good. We're going to pull it off. And like I said, you can't see it, but I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay, so there it is. I got it off the stone real clean. Just a little bit of cheese spooge, and then here it is. Pull that out. Pull this paddle out. Now it's going to cool on the cooling rack for a minute. Throw it on a cutting board. Cut it up. Chow down. That's it for now. Just wanted to come back real quick and show you that I scraped up that that cheese that leached, whatever. And I went ahead and used the scraper to do that. And then I took my little handy dandy knife and I swept it up there on, like, it's a broom in a dustpan. So now that's going in the trash and the pizza stone is good to go. All right, so I went and chilled out for a minute. This has been cooling, so let me come back. All right, so here we are with the finished pizza. It is dry as a bone. It's super thin cracker crust. It's cheap. It's $4 pizza, right? What do you expect? That's what I expect. Got the pizza peel, the scraper, the little broom that I used to clean up the stone, and then I've got my pizza cutter that I bought in a combo package off of Amazon. $20. I got a cutter and a paddle. So I'm going to cut this and be right back. All right, even though the package said Supreme, there's very little Supreme here. It's just pepperoni with a little bit of green pepper. I guess you could say there's sausage on there, but whatever, Tiffany. The whole point of this kind of, and you notice I cut it square, right? Like bar cut, tavern style, Chicago thin crust. You leave work, you go to the bar with your buddy from work, you're waiting for the train, and you ask for a pizza and a beer. Bam, here it is. You eat half of it, you chug your beer, you're gone. You get on the train, you go home. You still eat dinner when you get home. You don't need to lug, a giant Chicago deep dish with you. It's fun, and I expect this to be exactly that kind of pizza. All right, so here we are with the whole pizza covered with dry Parmesan, which are the shaker on the table at most Chicago taverns and a lot of Chicago pizza restaurants. And then crushed red peppers on everything. But in Chicago, you get giardiniera peppers typically on your tavern pizza. If you ask for them, they will give them to you, and then you load it up. Bada bing, bada boom. It's delicious. Let's see how this cheap-ass Jack's frozen pizza tastes.
Well, I'm here to tell you that pizza tasted fantastic. And this is the Marconi brand hot giardiniera, the original Chicago-style hot giardiniera. And, I mean, dude, this pizza was fantastic. I was shocked that I could take a $4 Jack's pizza, add a little dry parm, and a little bit of giardiniera, and have flashbacks to... Now, I mean, it's not great memories to think about, the fact that I worked like a dog, sweat like a bull, and, yeah. But holy cow, what more can you ask for? Well, that's in the next video. I'm going to show you what more you can ask for. Let's go. Subscribe, like, and share, comment, do all the things. You know the drill.